Welcome to Sunshine MLS Plus. This short tutorial will cover making adjustments in an existing CMA. We're going to go ahead and log in, and we're going to go to the CMA tab from the main navigation, and we're going to pull up one of our existing CMAs that we've been working on called CMA Tutorial. We're going to click on the Load button, and this will take us into the Adjustments tab for the particular CMA. On this tab, you can make all of your adjustments to the comparable properties and review all of the information that you're adjusting on. What you'll see immediately as the page loads is that all of your comparables are loaded already. You can page through them by using the paging navigation on the top as well as on the bottom, and the paging will go through your comparable properties. You'll see here that the subject property is highlighted with a yellow background and is always stationary on the left, allowing you to page through your comparables while the subject property is still visible on the left. You'll also notice that there are several fields that are preloaded with the CMA. These are default Sunshine MLS Plus CMA adjustable fields, but these are not the fields that you necessarily have to work with. They're just the defaults field. You have the ability to add fields either from your custom column sets or add custom fields one at a time to these particular fields, which we'll cover in just a second. You'll see that all of the photos have loaded for your comparable listings as well as the subject. You'll also have the ability to view a listing, either your subject property or any listing that's inside of your comparable properties, by simply clicking the View Listing link. And what this will allow you to do is take a look at the details of the particular property to perhaps remind yourself why you added it as a comparable property, or to see specific values. For example, if it has a private pool or a private spa, or what the description for the master bedroom is. Once you're done with reviewing the details for a particular property, you simply close the window that popped up to give you the details by clicking on the X, and you will be back in your CMA Adjustments window. At this point, you can start making adjustments on the fields that are already preloaded, or you can go ahead and load additional fields. To load additional fields from your custom column set, you would need to click the link that says Select Existing Custom Column Set. And we've predefined a CMA, Residential CMA Adjustments column set, which has several fields that we've added to it that are applicable to the residential property class. So what the system will do is it will take all of the columns attached to the particular custom column set, it will load them, and then auto-populate the data on every MLS listing that you have as a comparable listing in this particular MLS, in this particular CMA. You can also add additional custom fields. These custom fields could be fields that exist in the MLS, for example, garage spaces or carport spaces or community type, or they could be completely custom and perhaps not exist in the MLS. For example, extended lanai. That's a feature that the subject property has, and a feature that you'd like to adjust on, and perhaps not all of the comparable properties have it. So we'll add extended lanai, and at this point, these are the comparable fields that we're satisfied with. At this point, we can start making adjustments. So what we can start doing is we can take a look at the details for a particular comparable property, and we can start making positive or negative dollar amount adjustments in the adjusted plus or minus adjustment column for each comparable property. To make a positive dollar amount adjustment, you would simply type in the number value, the dollar value of the adjustment that you wish to make. To make a negative value adjustment, you would precede it with a minus sign and type in the negative value, the dollar value that you wish to adjust on, and continue doing that down the line. What you'll notice is that as you do these adjustments, the net adjustments value on the bottom of the comparable property that you're adjusting is changing, as well as the adjusted value, which is likewise changing. You can go through all of your comparable properties and make adjustments as needed. You can also fill out any information that may be missing, that doesn't exist in the MLS or has not been filled in to the MLS listing that you're using as your comparable property. So for example, our extended lanai field, we want to say yes for the subject property because it does have a extended lanai, but we know that this first comparable property does not. So we're going to say no, and then we'll make an adjusted value for the extended lanai. So we know it'll be a negative value. So for example, we'll just put negative 1500. Then we can move on to the next property and likewise populate the value and say, yes, this one does have an extended lanai. We won't make any adjustments and move through the comparable properties in that fashion. You can move to the next set of 3 comparable properties so that you can make adjustments on those. And what you'll notice here is that there's a manual entry that we've made of a recent sale in the neighborhood that wasn't done through the MLS. So in this case, none of the description information for the fields that we're adjusting on has been auto-populated because there's no data to auto-populate it from. So in this case, you would provide that data. So bedrooms, bathrooms, perhaps you'll say 3-2. Living area is 1500. Year built is 2001, and so on down the line. And then you would also make applicable adjustments to those particular values. Once you're done going through all of your comparables and making adjustments that you wish to make, you can take a look down further below the comparable adjustments table, and you'll see a summary table of all of the comparable properties and their values. You'll see here that we have active, pending, and closed sale properties that we've chosen as our comparable properties, as well as a manual property or a custom entry. You'll see a breakdown of minimum and maximum prices, as well as an average price and a median price, along with an average price per square foot. We also see a sold to list ratio for those closed sale properties. Further down below the summary table, what you'll notice is a sentence that indicates to you what the suggested list price is based on the adjustments that you've made to the comparable properties above. The adjusted list price, the list price range, is calculated within a 5% variance of the average list price that the system calculates based on your adjustments. This is a default value set by the system that is controlled globally through your profile page and preferences, or you can control it in every CMA that you make by simply clicking in the box, erasing the value that's in there, and putting a value that you wish to be the percentage variance. So in this case, we could change it from 5% to 3%, and you'll see that the average list price, the suggested list price range, will change accordingly. In addition to that, if you want to ignore the calculations that the system has made, or you want to round up the numbers perhaps, what you can do is type in the values yourself. So in this case, perhaps we just want to say 153, and the second value, maybe we just want to make it 162. In this case, the system will take your values that you've input and ignore all additional values that have been provided or that it calculated based on the adjustments that you've made to the comparable properties. You can make as many adjustments as you want and add up to 25 fields of adjustable fields to adjust on for each of your CMAs. The system will recalculate the suggested list price every time you make an additional adjustment, and it'll recalculate it based on the percentage provided in this box or a global percentage if not changed in this particular CMA that you're working on. This concludes our tutorial on making adjustments to an existing CMA.